Hey guys, today we've got a really great video for you. I'm here with Chicken from the running company in Adelaide, and we're going to be talking all about running shoes. So all of the questions that you have about how to pick running shoes, when to get new running shoes, we're going to answer all of those in this video today. So hi Chicken.
G'day, how are you?
Thank you, good. Thank you for doing this video.
No, awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Good. Chicken is not your real name.
No, definitely. It's just the runner's legs. So yeah, I've been blessed with those. They keep my bum off the ground and let me put one foot in front of the other, so it's all good. But may as well just get it out there.
All right, so let's start with some running shoe questions.
Yes,
so
awesome.
Probably the most common question that I hear is, how do you actually pick a running shoe? Like,
sure.
What things do you need to consider? You walk into a running shoe, there's so many options.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you need to consider?
Yeah, you're right. It's so confusing. Like if you look at this wall, just like this, like how am I going to pick a shoe? There is just so many things to consider in terms of how much running you're doing, what your injury history is, what the range of motion your foot goes through, how heavy you are as well, which is more force through the shoe, what surface you're running on, what your goal is at the end of the day. Are you going to use it for just running, or are you going to do a little bit of gym work in it as well? So yeah, there's so much to consider. It's crazy. Yeah, there's tons. So as a result of that, I suppose the process that we've come up with over the past 11 years of our experience in our 11 stores around the country is to do a full digital gait analysis, which requires the athlete to come in with their shoes. And that way we can see how their shoes are not only fitting, feeling and functioning, and it shows what their body's been trying to adapt and adjust to.
Yeah.
So we'll go through a number of things. First of all, we'll just ask a ton of questions. So everything I spoke about before, injury history, what they're training for, what the goals are, how many times a week are they training, are they running, are they walking, is it gym, all of that sort of stuff, where they're running. Then we'll get them on the treadmill in their old shoes. As I said, see how they've been functioning relative to them. Then we'll get them barefoot. And then as a result of all of that, then we can build a picture as to, okay, what's a bit of a short list of shoes that we would potentially look at. And then we will get each person back on the treadmill with any number of shoes to reassess the effect of the shoe on the foot. I suppose what we look for is, we try to find the perfect shoe, and that's going to be different for every single person, because we find a lot of people when they come in and we get them barefoot on the treadmill, you see one foot go through one range of motion and one foot go through the other. So the biggest thing for us and what we look for is to try and achieve a sense of balance, because the 2 feet are going through 2 different ranges of motion, but all of the shoes are the same. Yeah. So there's a lot of trial and error, and 50% of the equation, I suppose, is what we see on the camera. And then the other 50% is what the athlete feeds back to us in terms of comfort, fit and feel. So it's a real collaborative process. It's not about, you have to be in this shoe because this is what it looks like. It's like, no, hang on a second. Let's work together to try and find the shoe that's going to best suit their biomechanical needs and makeup and injury history and what they're training for, and also what's going to be most comfortable. And at the end of the day, even if we do get a short list of shoes and say we're down to 2 shoes and they're both really comfy and they're both functioning well, which one looks the best can definitely come into it as well, because like you got to like what you're looking at as well. I mean, that's our last consideration, but our job here is to ensure that we keep people on the good side of injury free and ensure that footwear is not a contributing factor towards injury, so that if we do our job right, then we handball to you guys and you guys do your job amazingly. And we know firsthand, good friend of mine, Steve, you've put him back together. That's for you, Steve. You're a good boy. You've done all your rehab work, I've been told. You guys do that, and then the runner is injury free and they're achieving their goal. And so that way we all work together and we have the runner at the heart of what we do to help keep them injury free, achieve their goal, and everyone's happy. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. So,
sounds good. Perfect. So it sounds like it's not a particular shoe, it's not a particular, brand.
No, not at all.
It's a lot of things that people need to consider when they're choosing running shoes.
Absolutely spot on.
So it is worth coming in and getting assessed and talking to a professional, so that you're not making the choice blindly.
Not at all.
It is a big investment, and as runners, it's a relatively cheap sport, except when it comes to shoes and when it comes to races, I guess, depending on how many you're doing. But the shoes are your main investment, and it's worth taking the time to pick good shoes, which ends up actually being cheaper in the long run.
Absolutely spot on. Yeah, we see time and time again, so many people come in and said, oh, on my friend's recommendation, I've bought this, but I'm having this issue, or I just saw this online, I saved like $30 or whatever. And you know what, we're all humans.
Yeah.
Or I like the look of this shoe, and the guy at the shop said, oh yeah, well this is going to be awesome. It's like, we're all human, it's all cool. There's no stress, and there's definitely, we don't look down on people or anything like that, because we've all done it, it's okay. But our job is to ensure if we get it right the first time, that's going to save you money in the long run. And the shoes that we look for are the ones that are going to fit, feel and function right, but also have the best longevity across the life of the shoe. So we're looking for that durability, we're looking for the consistency of the wear and the support across the whole life of the shoe. So it really comes down to value. And honestly, 9 times out of 10, the shoe that we end up with is usually the cheapest shoe.
Yeah.
It was funny, I had a couple of clients in yesterday, and it came down to 3 shoes, and they were like, okay, well, this is the one. I was like, cool, well, you just picked the cheapest shoe.
Yeah.
And the guy almost fell off his chair. He couldn't believe it. He was like, oh, well, I expected to pay like $250, $300, and it was $200.
Yeah.
So he couldn't get over it. And I was like, that's the whole point around what we do. We don't pick the shoe because of the price. We pick it because it's what's right. 9 times out of 10, if we're doing our job right as well, it just ends up being a good price shoe.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so it's all cool.